Peeps, welcome back to the podcast. I am sharing this episode with some kind of bug still in my tummy, and it ain't a fan. My belly is not a fan. So I am under the weather, but today's probably the best day out of the last 2 weeks. So let's hope that we get some answers and we get some clarity as to what what little thing from Bali has come home. I definitely didn't declare it. That's for sure. Didn't declare it when I came back home. There's a few things that I want to share, and one of them is probably about a week or two ago, I put up a post, a reel on Instagram, and it was literally me recording a podcast like I am doing right now, and I completely lost my train of thought. And it's actually something that's been happening more and more. There's a person who I was introduced to a few years back who has now become a super dear friend. Her profession is Dr. Kirstey Holland. She's a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, and she's now a dear friend. And she is all up and about and around peri-menopause and menopause. And to be honest, I had not heard of peri-menopause until I met her. I actually didn't know it existed. You know, in my mind, it was menopause, post-menopause, that's it. But when I was introduced to her and this beautiful circle of women who came into my life started talking about this, and a lot of them have been through peri-menopause, going through menopause. And then there's some of us who are just going through peri-menopause, and the symptoms that they were talking about with peri-menopause, I was like, shit. I'm experiencing that. And I'd probably say the last 2 years, my guts have not been right, and I eat well. I don't eat gluten. I'm a healthy fucking human being. And when you are typically healthy and everything's great and everything's working, and then when you're doing the same thing, it doesn't have the same health effects. That's kind of where I'm at. So that few weeks ago when I put up the reel, I was like, I have to share this because I am forgetting things more and more and more. I walk into rooms and I have quite literally no idea why I'm there. And I know that I've done that before and that's happened before, but it feels different. It actually feels different. When I'm in the middle of conversations, or even when I'm delivering a keynote, or like in a few weeks ago, the podcast, I literally lose my train of thought. Whereas before I might be able to get it back quicker, but it's literally gone. And as a result, I am losing some confidence in my ability to find the right word, the words that would just fall out of me super easily. There's angst there. There's some anxiety there. And anyway, the more I was talking to these women and to Dr. Kirstey Holland, who's in Melbourne, she's a Melbourne practitioner, the more I was listening, but I was also saying to myself, oh, no, I'm not going through peri-menopause. I'm not there yet. I'll wait till I'm in menopause when I've really got the fucking hardcore symptoms, and then I will deal with that then. But I have come to learn to know and understand that this is something that you can work with as of now. I'm 38. And see, this is the thing. I've spoken to women who are through menopause, and they will often say, you're too young for peri-menopause, but it's often probably something that they were told when they were younger, and so then the message just keeps getting passed down. And I guess the point that I am making is that I'm doing something about this, and I'm speaking openly about this because from now that I am educating myself and I'm finding out about this, it has become glaringly obvious to me that so many other women are going through these types of symptoms and thinking like, oh, something must be wrong with me. What's going on with me? and they're not being taken seriously, or are given an alternate diagnosis when it actually might be perimenopause. So I'm going to speak about this openly. I've just started to see my dear friend Kirstey Holland, and I'm going to share. I'm going to share with you my journey, and I'm actually going to share her with you along the way, more so toward the end of my cycle with her. So I can talk about it from a lived experience. But yes, that's currently in my world and that's currently in my life. So the things that I have definitely noticed are brain fog, losing my thoughts, losing my what I had my train of thought, uh, exceptionally bloated guts. I'd say for the last 2 years, really. I actually only just recognized and realized that I have a very heavy period. For me, I just thought, changing my tampon 3 times in the first 1 to 2 days was normal. But I literally found out in my session yesterday with her that that's quite a heavy bleed, and that doesn't have to be that way. And I also get quite a lot of pain from my period, and usually day one. So, in my life right now, as I am not, I would say, in my most vital energy. And I don't want it to be that way. If it doesn't have to be that way, then I don't want it to be that way, and like I said, I eat well, I sleep well, I do the right things. And it's like when none of those things are hitting the nail on the head, then what else is going on? So anyway, I'm sharing that because that's actually what is going on. For me, it's also low libido. And what else? Probably mainly those things. Anxiety, when I'm anxious over something that's situational. But then sometimes I'm anxious and I'm like, why the fuck am I anxious? There's nothing to be anxious about. And from what I'm learning and understanding is the change in our hormones, the increase, decrease, fluctuation is what is contributing to these symptoms. And apparently you can fucking stabilize your hormones, and you don't have to be going through full-blown menopause. It can begin now, and we can treat ourselves now. So I'm going to share about that as time goes on. But what I really want to share with you today is, so because I have felt off for quite some time in terms of my guts, in terms of my fogginess, fatigue, etc. I have found it harder to connect to spirit. When my body is off, I'm off. It's I find it hard to connect to spirit, and me connecting to spirit is, oh man, it's everything to me. It's where I get my answers to life, to the questions that percolate in my brain. And when I'm out of whack and I don't connect like I usually connect, I really miss it. And I suffer in my terms of suffering. So this morning, after I saw Dr. Kirstey Holland yesterday, so we did, took a whole health history and all those types of things, and then we did some acupuncture. And it was such a beautiful feeling that I got at the end of the acupuncture, where I absolutely felt I don't even know how to describe it. My brain and my body merged together. It's almost like my neck disappeared and my brain and my head and my body just said, we are one again. And fuck, it felt beautiful. And so when I woke up this morning, even though I've got crook guts from Bali, even though, there's still all this other stuff going on, I felt more whole in my spirit. And so I took myself to the canal, which is where a spot around where we live. And I took my journal, put my music in my ears, and I do what I do best, what I know I do best, and what I have been missing, which is to pose a question to the forces that be and be in a receptive state and let the answers find me. And so my question that I posed today to the forces that be was, share truth with me that I am ready and willing to hear and that you know I need to hear. So something that I am ready and willing to hear, and that the forces that be, spirit, truth, God, universe, whatever you choose to call it. Isn't it funny how there's no one word for it? Because that force cannot be named. We cannot place our definition in this humanness around it. And that's what I fucking love. Anyway, side note, that's what I posed. And so I sat there and I could hear myself trying to come up with an answer. Oh, this is the truth. 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 And then I just thought, I know I don't get answers that way. And so I continued to breathe and I let the music soften me, and I could hear the birds around and kids laughing, etc. And I just kept saying to myself, the answers will find me. The answers will find me. And slowly and surely it did. And the word sustain came about. Sustain. And so I let the word sustain come forth and show me what it meant. Show me the way. Here's what I wrote down. And this is why I fucking love this practice. And this is why it is so goddamn important for me, and I know for you, to have my body be well. To have my body be well. This is why I will spend money on being well. This is why I will choose to investigate when things are feeling off. Because being a well being allows me to connect to my spirit and then find answers such as this. Here's what I wrote. To sustain your life, you must sustain your spirit. Fucking mwah. So then I started to Google the definition of sustain. I love to know the meaning of words. And so I looked it up. To sustain is to strengthen or support. Fucking delicious. So then I wrote, well, what sustains your spirit, Kat? What strengthens and supports your spirit, Kat? And then I started to look up the definition of spirit, of soul, and it came up as this: spirit. And I looked up the word spirit, essence, because that's kind of the thing that I'm looking to strengthen and support. And it came up with this, all these different words, and essence, spirit is our intrinsic nature. Intrinsic nature, our authentic self. And so I just wrote all these questions down here. What brings your intrinsic nature to life, Kat? What connects you back to your intrinsic nature, Kat? And I sat there for probably 35 minutes, just sensing, feeling, writing down. Reading strengthens and supports my spirit. Dance, music, sitting on a bench, looking over the canal, connecting to spirit. That connects me to my intrinsic nature. Being curious does, laughing does, community, friends, love, exploring new places, going about life at my pace. These were some of the things that were coming up. And so then I connected back in and I closed my eyes and just asked if the forces that be had anything else they wished to share. And they wrote this: there is no other guide for you, my dear. Your guide is your spirit. It is the only way. Your answers do not rest in another, or do they rely on the outer. They rest within you. And then I wrote, come home often, Kat. You are always welcome home. And by being home, I mean connecting to my spirit. And this completely shifted my energetic field, my force field. Even though I feel like fucking shit, even though it's probably some parasite swimming away and laying eggs in my goddamn gut. Even though that I'm shifting into this stage of peri-menopause and I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind sometimes. I've questioned if I'm going through early Alzheimer's or dementia, like for real, for real. I'm scared to do a keynote speaking gig because I'm like, what if I fucking forget? What if I forget what I'm going to say and people are paying me for this? Like, shit. What if, even though all of that is going on, this practice of sitting my fucking ass down, connecting in, asking a question to the forces that be and being in a receptive state to let the answers find me. This page has completely changed my day. And so I want to ask you this very question. What strengthens and supports your spirit? What sustains your spirit? And also in the same breath, what takes your spirit away? Maybe spirit to you is spark, life force, whatever word you want to use. What brings about your intrinsic nature? Who brings about your intrinsic nature? What activities or experiences or doing nothingness brings about, gives life, reactivates your intrinsic nature? Because to me, these questions are a fucking gift. And I've been given this gift today from Spirit, and I want to share it with you and leave you with these questions to ponder. Leave you with these questions to take into your life and let the answers find you. And you know what? If you want support, work with me. If you want support, reach out. Send us an email, go down to the show notes. If you want support with asking these types of questions and knowing how to get these answers inside of you, I'm here. Holla. But if that doesn't feel right for you, if it's not the right time for you, if you can take such questions in on your own, then please. Because what a question to ask. And what a words to live by. To sustain your life, you must sustain your fucking spirit. That is going on my mirror. That is going on my wall. That is going into my heart. And I highly recommend that you take it into yours. Because you know what? When we are connected to our intrinsic nature, our authentic nature, our spirit, again, whatever you want to call it, the it that can't be named, you will see clearly. You will feel clearly. You will see and feel through a very open heart. And to see and feel clearly without the fog, without the blinders, blinkers on, my gosh, we get to see our life clearly. We get to see ourselves clearly. We get to see what we have been unwilling to see or not even allowing ourselves to see because we're so busy thinking, conjuring up something else. So my gift to myself today is now my gift to you. To sustain your life, you must sustain your spirit.